Hey you guys, in today's video I'm going to show you my recipe for making banana bread. It is really easy, so let's just get right into it. I needed some non-copyrighted music, but I couldn't find any, so I had to make my own, and I have no idea what I'm doing. Starting out the day with a little bit of homework, I've got this cute little unicorn over here doing her math work, and I've got my other girl over here drawing on her math book. And my baby boy is off somewhere hiding his math book. So on to the banana bread. For this recipe, we are going to be needing 1 stick of room temperature butter, half a cup of sugar, 3 very ripe bananas, 2 room temperature eggs, 1 1/4 cup of flour that's sifted, a half teaspoon of salt, and 1 teaspoon of baking soda. And you're going to want to preheat your oven to 350. One of the most important things about your banana bread is the type of bananas that you use. You want to make sure that they're really ripe, almost to the point of being soft. This is perfect because the kids don't usually like them, but for me they're perfect for smoothies and banana bread. This one they opened up and decided that they weren't going to eat it because it was too ripe for them. So these are the perfect type for banana bread. Okay, so I'm also gonna use a stick of butter. It's supposed to be softened, but I accidentally softened this one just a little bit too much. So I'm trying to salvage this here, like so. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Another tip that I like is when you have the butter wrapper, don't throw it away. What I do is I use that to grease my baking dish. Still has a lot of good butter on there. Excuse me. Still has a lot of good butter on there. Look at that. Pretty good. Okay, so there's a handy tip for you.
Oh, look at me.
Okay, so I'm gonna set this aside, and to our butter, I am going to add half a cup of salt. Okay, that would be disgusting. That was half a cup of sugar. Sugar would work a lot better. Okay, so over here to the KitchenAid, I'm gonna be using this paddle and just add this on like that. And then I'm gonna put the batter and lock the bowl in place. And then I will lock that and turn this on. That took about 1 minute. So this looks really nice and creamy. I'll go ahead and open this up. And that creaminess is what's gonna give body to the bread. So now I'm gonna go ahead and add the eggs. So doing this step, the creaming the sugar and the butter together, is very important for the texture of your bread to become fluffy. But you don't have to do this in the KitchenAid mixture. Actually, I've only had the KitchenAid mixture since the beginning of this year, and I used to do this all by hand. It doesn't take very long. You mix it together, and it takes about 3 to 5 minutes. This in the KitchenAid mixer took me about 1 minute, which is just a time saver. I make a lot of breads and things like that, so I really needed the stand mixer, plus I do the tortillas, and that's like 10 minutes of kneading, and it just started taking a lot of time. So that's why I went ahead and invested in the KitchenAid. Now it's time to add our 2 eggs, and I am using room temperature eggs. Want to use a room temperature egg, and that will give your bread a better texture at the end. It's not a must, but your bread will come out better if you use the room temperature. So putting this down after we have the eggs in there, I'm going to lock the head in place and go ahead and turn this on. Okay, I'm going to scrape down the sides here of the bowl. You guys okay? So while that's mixing, I turned on my oven to preheat, and I am going to put these bananas into a bowl to smash it. And I'm just gonna smash this with a fork. So when I first got this recipe, the recipe called for 1 cup of sugar and to 1 1/4 cups of flour. I thought that was pretty insane, but I split the sugar in half, and sometimes I've even omitted the sugar. As long as your bananas are really ripe, you should be fine. This banana bread turned out really sweet. It tasted like a cake, even though I only used half a cup of sugar, and I'm pretty sure that if I took out all of the sugar, it would have been just as sweet. So the more ripe that your bananas are, the sweeter it's gonna get without a refined sugar. Perfect. Okay, I'm gonna add the banana to the rest of the wet ingredients. For baking, you probably already know, for some reason the sugar is always added as a liquid. But I'm just gonna go ahead and add this to the wet ingredients, and then we will start mixing our dry ingredients. Add the attachment thingy. Okay, I'm not usually a measurer or, stickler about fancy things like this, but this is my little brother gave me his banana bread recipe, and he always sifts it, and it always comes out really good. So that's what I do with my banana bread. But I do add this all together in here. So I'm gonna be adding 1 1/2 cups of, I'm gonna be adding 1 1/4 cups flour and putting that in there. Oh, I don't think the Xbox is hooked up to online. Okay, so to my flour, to my 1 1/4 cups flour, I am adding 1/2 teaspoon of salt and one teaspoon of baking soda. And that's the reason that you have to make sure that your oven is preheated and your pan is ready to go, because when it comes to using the baking soda, you have to work with it faster, or else it loses its leavening effectiveness. So for a quick bread, this is gonna go, pour it into the pan and then we'll bake it right away. So that's why we're using baking soda and not baking powder. If you had something that you needed to let rise and knead, like cinnamon rolls or things like that, dinner rolls or whatever, then that's when you use baking powder, because it you're not gonna be baking it right away. So I'm gonna go put this, actually I'm gonna give this a quick stir just because I don't want the powder to fluff everywhere. And you don't need, obviously you don't need a KitchenAid mixer to make this bread. I used to always do this by hand. I just recently got my KitchenAid this past Black Friday, and because I usually do a lot of baking. Okay, so I'm gonna take this back over to stand mixer. Okay, so lock this in place and stir this up. So while that is mixing, I'm going to show you what I like to do to the baking dish. To my baking dish, I like to sprinkle a little bit of sugar and cinnamon. This gives it a nice little candy crunch on the bottom, and I also do this on the top as well. And that's it. It's done. So it's really easy. I'm just gonna scrape down this paddle. Okay. Time to put this into our pan. I'm just gonna scrape this all right in. And I like to flatten the top a little bit just so it doesn't have a big poof in the middle. And when that happens, sometimes it stays a little bit not well cooked in the middle and then too brown on the edges. So when I flatten it out like this, it makes it cook a little bit more evenly. The last thing that I like to do is to put some sugar also on the top. And cinnamon too. Whoa, that was a lot. It's gonna be good. And this goes into our oven for about 45 minutes to an hour at 350. So here is the banana bread fresh out of the oven. It took about an hour. That is the cinnamon up there. So it came out perfect. And I don't usually set a timer. Usually you can smell it when it's done. You can smell it when it starts baking, and then you can start smelling the brownness. And so that's the perfect crispiness that we like it. Maybe I can take this over to a better lighting. I didn't really seem to get a good lighting on this thing. So here is the banana bread out of the oven. Ooh. Let's cut into it. I'm gonna get a knife real quick.
That girl's fast. That girl's fast. A flash, flash, flash.
Okay, like so I'm just gonna cut this like this.
Like this?
Like a this. Oh, I need a plate. Okay, I got a plate for my tea and crumpet.
Oh, I thought you said TNT.
TNT. My tea and crumpet.
Here, to unto.
So here is the beautiful.
Floating lasagna.
Let me try to zoom in here so you can catch all this spectacularness.
Get stuck.
So there is the banana bread. Ouch. Hot. Kind of smashed the shape when I was getting it out, but there you go. Nice and delicious and very moist. It's not dry. Ow, it's super hot. Mm-hmm. I'm trying not to chew in your ear. Sorry. It has a really good butter flavor. It has a nice crisp on it. That was in my video. You know.
Oh.
It has a really good crumb and chunks of banana. Really, really delicious. It comes out every single time. So give this a try
Oh.
and tell me what you think. That's the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give a thumbs up if you liked it because it really helps the video, and share with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe if you like the channel. Thank you so much for watching. Bye. Goodbye. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for watching. Say thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
Cute. I needed some non-copyrighted music, but I couldn't find any, so I had to make my own. And I have no idea what I'm doing.